My name is Holland Wood, and I'm going to share with you my family's nightmare with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. My father's name is Samuel Dennis Wood, and he's 88 years old. He's a former employee for the city of Detroit, Michigan. Currently, he lives in Miami, Florida. Recently, his health has failed a bit, and so he's had to make several hospital visits. Each visit to the hospital leaves him very weakened, and so he has to spend some time in rehab in order to regain his strength. In his case, rehab includes physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. The speech therapy is particularly important because without it, my father is unable to have food by mouth because his swallowing mechanism doesn't work properly, and speech therapy helps cure that. And the idea after rehab is that you return home to enjoy life. Well, because he'd made several hospital visits, eventually his Medicare coverage for rehab ran out. Fortunately, we thought, my father had a Blue Cross Blue Shield policy that picked up extra days following the days that Medicare ended. Now, as a 40-year customer, my family thought that we were covered, and so my father would continue to be able to get the therapy he needed. We were wrong. Now, I'm going to try to diagram for you exactly what happened so you can understand why we call this a true nightmare. As I mentioned, my father was getting rehab services, and he was in a facility. Let's call it Facility A. Now, Facility A had two different parts. One is a rehab center, and that is a very expensive service, $600 per day approximately, and it's just because you have a lot of professionals. The second was a nursing home, and this is a standard nursing home, and it wasn't quite as expensive as the rehab service, but it was very expensive at $200 per day. So as I said, my father was getting the rehab services until Medicare coverage ended, and so we contacted Blue Cross and Blue Shield to check to see if my father's coverage would kick in, and in fact they told us he did have many months of extra days of coverage. However, Facility A was not within the Blue Cross network, and so they said we had to move him to another facility that had a similar rehab function, and then Blue Cross Blue Shield would cover it. And so we began to actually go through the process of getting approval. Because the rehab in Facility A was so expensive, and my father's on a fixed income, we had to move him to the nursing home side. It's just another side of the building, and we figured while we're waiting for Blue Cross Blue Shield approval, it would take a little bit of time, and then we'd have him back in rehab where he needs to be. And this is where the story really begins to get interesting, because Blue Cross Blue Shield engaged in what I call just paperwork and process shenanigans. They asked Facility B to send papers, fax them back and forth. Facility A, they asked for different types of paperwork, what services were done. Each time you call Blue Cross and Blue Shield, their facility services phone number had a wait time of up to 2 hours. And so as you're trying to check progress, you end up in this endless stream of needing to send paperwork, check the progress. Progress requires additional paperwork, and going back through that loop. So it took us many, many weeks in order to get this paperwork complete. In addition, Blue Cross Blue Shield said they needed to talk to my father's primary care physician, and they wanted his physician to call and speak with them. Now, this despite the physician had already sent a letter that said this rehab service was medically necessary for my father to regain full function. Eventually, after 30 days, Blue Cross decided that our claim was denied, and we learned later that the reason it was denied was because they said my father wasn't currently getting rehab services, and therefore he didn't need rehab services. He, in fact, should stay in the nursing home. And so there you have it. That's our nightmare. Samuel Dennis Wood's only options left are that his wife, Sylvia Wood, pictured here with him, their 3 sons, London Wood, myself, Holland Wood, and my brother, Juarez Wood, will commence a daily battle with Blue Cross Blue Shield to figure out how to get them to pay for services that are covered, to pay for services that are desperately needed so that my father can return home. And it's this experience that has caused us to create this website, DWNightmare.avi, because we believe there are other families out there who are forced to endure the same mistreatment, and we're looking to see if they would like to unite and combine our efforts to put an end to this type of behavior. It'll take many of us to prevent this multi-billion-dollar corporation from mistreating us and others, but together we can do it. Thank you for your time in looking at this presentation, and please get involved and help.